how to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home without spoiling anything. This is a movie that is one spoiler moment after another. It's a massive, massive endeavor from Sony Pictures and Marvel, trying to wrap in Tom Holland into the MCU in some really interesting new ways. It's loaded with stars, and some of them you will have seen in the marketing. And it is a multiverse movie. It's ripping at the fabric of the multiverse and presenting all kinds of ideas that tether concepts that we've seen and thoughts that we've had about different characters into one gigantic, monstrous, almost successful picture. Successful in a lot of ways. I don't want to diminish it because the effort involved in putting this together is enormous, and I respect it, and I was entertained. There's no question I was entertained, and I was sitting there in my seat wondering what the hell the filmmakers were going to throw at us next, because a lot is thrown at us. And it's fascinating, and it presents a whole bunch of different questions as well, like where else could they go with this idea and this concept and the characters that they're throwing up on screen at this moment. But I didn't have the same emotional kind of connection to this film that I had with other movies that have been loaded with superheroes and lots of different characters. I'm thinking about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies that James Gunn has put together, and of course what the Russo brothers have done with Captain America movies, and especially Infinity War and Endgame. This is a movie almost at that scale, almost at the Avengers type of scale. There's that much stuff happening on screen and that many different actors that you have to think about and have to care about. And there are some really tender, truthful, beautiful, impactful moments for sure. But it doesn't sort of stick the landing that we have seen in other massive superhero pictures before. I think that there is truth in the statement of bigger is not always better. I think we've seen that a little bit in other superhero movies in the past. And I think that the epic scale of this Spider-Man film saps some of the heart out of it. Yet there are still really powerful moments in this movie as well. And so I left the theater feeling entertained, feeling kind of baffled at what I had just witnessed, because it does feel impossible. That is definitely something that I felt for a big chunk of the movie. It's just, I kept questioning, how is this happening? How am I seeing this? How is this reality? I kind of felt that way with the first Doctor Strange movie, as a matter of fact. And Doctor Strange plays a huge part in this movie. I didn't laugh as much as I wanted to laugh in this film. I felt like I laughed quite a bit more in the first two Spider-Man movies. There definitely is a beautiful connection between Tom Holland and Zendaya and Jacob Batalon. That chemistry feels really honest and not contrived at all, and it was great to see those characters on screen together. I liked those moments quite a bit. But I guess we have left a little bit of the innocence of the first two Spider-Man movies, and the whole world is up against Peter Parker and feels like the walls are closing in on him. There is definitely this element of the movie forcing the character of Peter Parker to kind of own his place, you know, as a do-gooder in New York City, even to a greater extent than we've seen in the previous two films. I guess just some of the joy was missing, and yet there was joy in areas that I wasn't necessarily anticipating. And yeah, there was just a lot of disbelief and a lot of like, holy cow, I cannot believe they're doing this. So it's a movie that I think you should see for sure and make up your own mind about it. But I can tell you that I preferred the first two Spider-Man films. And this movie has lots of joyous elements for sure, but it feels a little disconnected and discombobulated and, a little bit squandered, considering all of the pieces that went into making this. I think that the collection of all of those wonderful, disparate pieces isn't fully capitalized on. That's not to say that there aren't some really nice wins in this movie. It's definitely something that I want to see again and to see if my thoughts on the movie kind of change after a repeat viewing. I'm looking forward to kind of repeating this in my mind and playing some of these sequences that I'm still in disbelief that I saw them over again. I've had more fun with other Spider-Man movies for sure. I've had much more fun with other Marvel movies. I just felt like the writing and the script wasn't up to snuff. All of the other parts of this movie came to play. There was just so many beautiful opportunities, and they weren't realized in the dialogue. The dialogue kind of landed with a thud a lot. Moments were squandered. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. And I don't mean to, ravage this movie. It's just that how could expectations not be sky high? The hype has been huge. The leaks have been massive. I just wanted more. And I gotta say, Sony really pissed me off with how much stuff has been revealed that is in this movie. And it was hard not to imagine where this thing could go. And some of that stuff is up on screen for sure, but I just wanted it to be a snappier script. I mean, when I see an Avengers Endgame or an Infinity War, and we've got all of these different actors and characters, and they all get their beats and their moments, and it just is great pattern. It's super snappy, and you just are, in it. You're in every moment. This one doesn't hit like that, It's disappointing. Oh, and the other thing that I will say is Tom Holland is a magnificent actor, just an incredible actor. I mean, I think we've kind of been aware of his talents as Spider-Man already, but God, he is really good. And the moments that he has in this thing, he really sells. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where his career goes from here. He's got tremendous range and tremendous potential. But still, though, I couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed with Spider-Man No Way Home. My eyes weren't, but my brain was. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.